Hey, basketball fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your go-to spot for the hottest NBA regular season predictions. I'm Kokan, and I'm here to break down today's matchups and give you the edge you need to make the best bets. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means the world to us. Remember, our channel has no sponsors and relies solely on the love and support of viewers like you. Even a small donation by pressing the thanks button under the video helps us keep bringing you top-notch content every day. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see in our forecasts. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you the content you crave. Let's jump right into today's NBA predictions. We've got some exciting games lined up, so stay tuned and let's get that winning streak going. Today we have predictions for 6 NBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Brooklyn Nets and Philadelphia 76ers. As the NBA in-season tournament fires up, the Brooklyn Nets and Philadelphia 76ers step up to the plate for a Friday night matchup that feels more like a playoff grind than a mid-season clash. Both squads have plenty riding on this game, making it a high-stakes battle for bragging rights and momentum. The Brooklyn Nets are kicking off a tough 4-game road trip with this contest, and while their 6-9 overall record doesn't exactly light up the scoreboard, their performance against the spread is a whole different ballgame. Sitting at an impressive 10-4-1 against the spread this season, the Nets have consistently outperformed the oddsmakers' lines, showing they're more than just their win-loss tally. Brooklyn's been through some turbulence lately, dropping 3 of their last 5, including back-to-back losses to the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. But Tuesday's 116-115 squeaker over the Hornets, despite being shorthanded without Cam Thomas, showed their scrappy resilience. Even though they couldn't cover the 1.5-point spread, they proved they can gut out wins when the chips are down. Cam Thomas's status remains up in the air due to a sore back, but there's no denying his value when he's on the floor. Averaging 24.6 points per game on 45% shooting, he's been Brooklyn's main slugger at the plate. In his absence, Cameron Johnson has stepped up, swinging for the fences with 28 points per game over his last 2 outings, while rookie Jalen Wilson has quietly delivered consistent double-digit scoring nights. Brooklyn's road struggles are real. They've won just once in their last 5 away games, but they've managed to cover the spread in 4 of those outings, a testament to their gritty competitiveness. Their offense averages 111.7 points, while their defense gives up 114.7, stats that suggest a team willing to grind, but needing a closer to seal the deal. Over in the Philadelphia dugout, the 76ers are scrambling to get their season back on track. With just 3 wins to their name, they've been struck out early and often, sitting at the bottom of the standings. Injuries have played a huge role, particularly the limited availability of their star hitter Joel Embiid. Philadelphia's latest outing, a 117-111 loss to the Grizzlies on Wednesday, spotlighted their offensive woes. They failed to cover the spread in 4 of their last 5 games and are just 1-4 at home over the same stretch. While Embiid's return has brought flashes of brilliance, he's averaging 19.8 points in 4 games, including a monster 35-point showing against Memphis. It's clear the Sixers need more from their lineup. Tyrese Maxey, battling his own injury issues, and veteran Paul George, whose numbers have dropped, need to step up to keep the Sixers in the hunt. Philadelphia's offense ranks near the league's bottom, putting up just 103.9 points per game, while their defense holds opponents to 112.6 points. Without a big boost in offensive firepower, they'll continue to struggle, even against teams like Brooklyn that are still finding their stride. This matchup is a tough one to call. Initially, I was leaning toward the 76ers snapping out of their slump and picking up just their 3rd win, but when you break it down, there's not enough evidence to ride with Philly here. I just can't find a solid argument to back the Sixers. George isn't suiting up tonight, and honestly, his absence hasn't really hurt the team across those 7 games he's been a non-factor. Sure, Embiid might be available, but let's keep it real. He's been a ghost this season too. He's played in just 4 games, and the Sixers went 0-4 in those outings. It's not just their on-court issues, either. There's clearly tension brewing in that locker room, and that's bleeding into their performances. Meanwhile, the Nets aren't exactly world beaters, but they play with heart. This squad doesn't have a single star, yet they leave it all on the floor every night. On the road, they've been scrappy, losing only 2 of their 8 away games by more than 5 points, one to the Magic in Orlando and the other to the Knicks at MSG. That resilience is enough for me to lean toward Brooklyn to cover the 7.5-point spread. They've been punching above their weight class, and I trust them to hang tough again tonight. The second prediction for today is for a game between the Indiana Pacers and Milwaukee Bucks. Friday night promises fireworks as the Milwaukee Bucks and Indiana Pacers lock horns in the NBA in-season tournament. It's a pivotal clash, with the Bucks rolling in on a hot streak while the Pacers are desperate to right the ship after a rocky start to their campaign. As the stakes rise, both teams are eager to prove their mettle under the bright lights. Milwaukee is finding its groove, and I've got to say, this team is starting to look scary. With 4 wins in their last 5 outings, including a commanding 122-106 triumph over Chicago, the Bucks are firing on all cylinders. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard are finally hitting their stride, and the chemistry between these two stars is nothing short of electric. Playing at home? That's another big advantage for Milwaukee, who've secured 5 wins in their last 8 games at Fiserv Forum. With key players healthy and momentum on their side, they're beginning to resemble the powerhouse we all expected. Indiana, however, has hit a rough patch, and let's be honest, their road form has been abysmal. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games, including a 130-113 drubbing by Houston and a discouraging 124-111 defeat to Miami in their tournament opener. With a 2-7 road record and defensive issues that scream trouble, they're allowing 118.4 points per game. It's hard to imagine them keeping pace with Milwaukee's explosive offense. Now, don't get me wrong, Indiana has shown flashes of brilliance on offense. They're efficient from the field and deadly from... For the Pacers to stand a chance, Tyrese Haliburton needs to step up big time. He struggled mightily against Houston, hitting just 1 of 7 shots, and he'll need a bounce-back performance to lead his team. Obi Toppin, who's been a bright spot lately, must continue his aggressive play. Meanwhile, the Bucks will count on Giannis to dominate the paint and Lillard to torch the defense from deep. Their ability to control the boards and dictate the game's pace could seal the deal. I'll be real, Indiana's defensive lapses and shaky road performances make it tough to back them in this matchup. Milwaukee's depth, discipline, and growing confidence should be too much for the Pacers to handle. I expect the Bucks to control the tempo on the glass and light it up from downtown. Final call? Milwaukee takes this one comfortably and covers the 5-point spread.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, couriered check, cryptocurrency, or bank wire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The third prediction for today is for a game between the Atlanta Hawks and Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls and Atlanta Hawks are gearing up for an intense showdown at the United Center this Friday as part of the NBA's in-season tournament. Both squads are hungry to bounce back after disappointing losses and make a statement in this mid-season competition. The Hawks are reeling after a tough 120-97 loss to the Warriors, marking their 3rd defeat in the last 4 outings. Their defense has been shaky, surrendering an average of 119.6 points per game, which places them near the bottom of the league. On offense, Trae Young is still the engine, dishing out 11.6 assists and averaging 21.9 points per game, though his shooting hasn't been sharp, hitting just 38% from the field. Meanwhile, Jalen Johnson has been a revelation, contributing 19.1 points and 10.2 rebounds per game despite managing a nagging leg issue. DeAndre Hunter and Dyson Daniels have added reliable scoring, chipping in 18.4 and 14.6 points per contest, respectively. The Bulls, on the other hand, suffered a 122-106 defeat to the Bucks, further underlining their season-long struggles. Their defense has been even more porous, giving up 122.9 points per game, the 2nd worst mark in the league. Offensively, Zach LaVine continues to shine, averaging 22 points per game on a stellar 51.2% shooting, including an impressive 43.2% from deep. Nikola Vucevic has chipped in 20.3 points, but his recent off night against the Bucks left much to be desired. Kobe White has been a bright spot, averaging 19.5 points, with a recent standout 25-point performance against Detroit. Josh Giddey adds 11.8 points per game, though he needs to find more consistency in his shot. In their historical matchup, the Bulls hold the upper hand with a 140 to 120 lead in the all-time series. Their last clash saw Chicago take a convincing 125 to 113 win in Atlanta. Over the last 10 meetings, the Bulls are 6-4, including a slight edge in games played at the United Center. Both teams are defensively vulnerable, ranking near the bottom in points allowed per game. This should translate into a high-scoring contest, especially given Atlanta's up-tempo style and Chicago's tendency to allow a lot of field goal attempts. For Atlanta, much hinges on Trae Young finding his rhythm and continued strong play from Johnson, Hunter, and Daniels. Defensively, they'll need to focus on limiting Levine's efficiency and controlling the boards. Chicago, meanwhile, needs Vucevic to bounce back and build off Levine's offensive firepower while minimizing turnovers and capitalizing on White's hot hand. Now, here's where I land. I believe the Hawks have a slight edge in this one. It's tough to get behind a team that just can't seem to handle business on their home court. The Bulls have managed to win only one of their 6 games at the United Center this season. Sure, Atlanta isn't exactly a juggernaut, but they've been solid on the road, picking up wins against teams like the Knicks, Celtics, and Kings while keeping it close in other matchups. The Hawks are coming off a rough blowout loss to Golden State, but this spot sets up nicely for them to bounce back as road underdogs. They've stepped up their game in the NBA Cup, and Chicago's defense has been flat-out terrible, one of the worst in the league. Going against an Atlanta squad that can light it up offensively and is shooting the ball well, that's a recipe for trouble for the Bulls. The Hawks are 4-4 against the spread as underdogs and 3-5 straight up in those games, while Chicago has already dropped their lone game as a favorite this season. The Bulls' offense just doesn't have the firepower to keep pace with Atlanta. Until Chicago shows they can protect their home court and play better overall, I'm riding with the Hawks to cover the plus 1.5 point spread. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the Golden State Warriors and New Orleans Pelicans. The Golden State Warriors head into their showdown against the New Orleans Pelicans riding a wave of momentum, showing glimpses of the championship-caliber basketball their fans have come to expect. With a season off to a strong start, the Warriors are fine-tuning their rotations, experimenting to lock in the best combinations for long-term success. So far, the results have been promising, and this squad looks ready to make noise. Offensively, Golden State has been lighting it up. They rank among the league's top teams in three-point shooting, 3rd, and field goal percentage, 10th, showcasing their efficiency on offense. On the glass, they're a force to be reckoned with, standing 2nd in rebounds. However, their Achilles heel has been at the free throw line, where they sit dead last in shooting percentage, and turnovers remain a lingering issue, where they rank 17th. Even so, their defense has picked up the slack, ranking 7th in blocked shots and providing the backbone for their early season success. Stephen Curry, the heart and soul of this team, is orchestrating the offense masterfully. He's putting up 23 points per game while shooting an absurdly efficient 49.1% from the field and 44.1% from deep. His supporting cast has stepped up in a big way. Andrew Wiggins has been rock solid, chipping in 16.2 points per game on 47.3% shooting, while Jonathan Kuminga has emerged as a reliable scorer with 13.7 points per game. Meanwhile, Buddy Hield has brought his scoring touch, averaging 16.5 points per game. For the Warriors, the key will be maintaining their defensive intensity while allowing Curry to dictate the pace and facilitate for his teammates. If they can force turnovers and control the tempo, they should have no problem taking care of business. The New Orleans Pelicans, on the other hand, are in survival mode. Decimated by injuries to key players like Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, and CJ McCollum, the Pelicans are struggling to find consistency. Their most recent outing, a 128-100 drubbing by Cleveland, highlighted just how depleted their roster is. Offensively, they've been ice cold, ranking 27th in field goal percentage and 21st in three-point shooting. While they've been decent at the free throw line, sitting at 12th, they've been mediocre on the boards, 18th, and rank near the bottom in assists. With their top gun sidelined, New Orleans' offense has been stuck in neutral. Over the last 10 games, they've averaged just 100 points per game, one of the lowest marks in the league. Their best shot at staying competitive lies in an unlikely breakout performance from their bench players, but given their struggles, the odds are not in their favor. The Warriors, boasting an 11-3 record and a stellar 10-4 mark against the spread, come into this game as road warriors, covering the spread in 6 of their 8 away games. Meanwhile, the Pelicans have been lackluster, sitting at 4-12 straight up and against the spread. Golden State has already beaten New Orleans twice this season by double digits, and with the Pelicans' continued struggles, a similar result seems likely. In my opinion, the Warriors are poised to dominate this matchup. Their depth, led by Curry's brilliance and a well-rounded supporting cast, will likely overwhelm an injury-ravaged Pelicans squad. I expect Golden State to control the game from the opening tip and comfortably cover the spread, winning by double digits. This is shaping up to be another statement win for a Warriors team that's hitting its stride. The fifth prediction for today is for a game between the Dallas Mavericks and Denver Nuggets. Friday night sets the stage for a showdown as the Dallas Mavericks take on the Denver Nuggets at Ball Arena in an in-season tournament clash. Both squads are sitting at 1-1 in Group C, making this a pivotal game in the hunt for a knockout round spot. The stakes are high, and the hardwood promises fireworks with big names ready to deliver. Dallas rolls into this matchup on a heater after dismantling the Pelicans with a jaw-dropping 132-91 performance. Even without Luka Doncic, sidelined by a wrist issue, Kyrie Irving has been the ace in their hand. Irving's last outing against Denver was a masterpiece, where he torched the Nets for 43 points, including 6 shots from downtown. If Dallas is going to outduel the defending champs, Irving's ability to dictate the tempo and hit clutch buckets is non-negotiable. The Mavericks might also get a boost from the return of Derek Lively too, whose grit and grind in the paint could shore up their defensive gaps. Riding a 3-game winning streak, Dallas seems to have shaken off their early season jitters and found their groove. On the flip side, the Nuggets have their own curveballs to navigate. Nikola Jokic, their cornerstone, missed the last 3 games due to personal reasons, but is expected to suit up for this tilt. His track record against Dallas is flat-out dominant, dropping a triple-double with 37 points, 18 boards, and 15 dimes last time out. If he's in uniform, he's the engine that makes Denver hum. That said, Denver's depth has proven it can handle adversity. Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. have risen to the occasion, keeping the Nuggets competitive in Jokic's absence. However, Aaron Gordon's potential absence due to a calf issue could leave their front court slightly short-handed, putting extra weight on their role players to step up. The chess match here boils down to Kyrie Irving against Denver's defense. Dallas needs to lean on its perimeter firepower and up-tempo play to outfox a Nuggets team known for their balance and ball movement. But let's not sugarcoat it, defense has been Dallas' Achilles' heel, and if Jokic is back, it'll take a collective effort to slow him down. For Denver, the strategy is clear: neutralize Irving and make Dallas' supporting cast carry the load. Their ball movement, even without Jokic, has been a thing of beauty, and they'll need it to shine under the bright lights of Ball Arena. If this matchup is anything like their November 10th thriller, where Denver squeaked out a 122-120 win, we're in for a barn burner. Personally, I think if Jokic takes the court, Denver's odds improve, but I wouldn't count on this being an automatic win. Indeed, this game hinges entirely on Nikola Jokic and Kyrie Irving, especially with Luka sidelined. I'm a big fan of Jokic and the Nuggets, but let's be honest, it feels like Jokic might have celebrated the birth of his son a little too well, maybe even enjoyed a few too many rounds of brandy. If that's the case, this could end up being a pretty smooth ride for the Mavericks. We all know Kyrie's in peak form right now, but the big question is Jokic's readiness. I've got to roll with what I'm confident in, and at the moment, that's Dallas. If Jokic decides to prove me wrong, so be it, but my money's on the Mavericks to cover the 4-point spread in this one. The sixth prediction for today is for a game between the Sacramento Kings and Los Angeles Clippers. The Sacramento Kings and Los Angeles Clippers are set to collide in a highly anticipated matchup as both teams aim for their first NBA Cup win. The Clippers come in with a boost of confidence, having already bested the Kings 107-98 earlier this month. Meanwhile, Sacramento looks for redemption, hoping to break free from a stretch of inconsistent performances. Sacramento's NBA Cup debut was a heartbreaker, a 130-126 overtime loss to the Timberwolves. With a 4-4 record over their last 8 games, the Kings have experienced a mix of highs and lows. The absence of stars Domantas Sabonis and DeMar DeRozan in recent games has placed an enormous load on De'Aaron Fox, who's been nothing short of sensational. Fox delivered a franchise record 60-point performance in the Cup opener, proving he's ready to lead from the front. Keegan Murray and Kean Ellis have also stepped up, with Ellis' electric 33 points showing adding a spark to Sacramento's offense. The Kings rank 7th in points per game at 116.9, but their recent scoring woes tell a different story. Their reliance on mid-range offense and hesitancy from deep have hurt them, especially against sharpshooting teams. Their road record, 4-3, shows grit, but shaky perimeter defense has left them vulnerable in tight contests. The Clippers, on the other hand, are riding high on a 3-game winning streak. Despite injuries to key players like Kawhi Leonard and Norman Powell, this team is finding its stride. James Harden has taken the reins, averaging 20.3 points and 8.8 assists per game, providing the steady leadership they've needed. Their defensive strength has been their anchor, especially in the paint, where they rank among the league's elite. Offensively, the Clippers' depth has been critical. Ivica Zubac has emerged as a key contributor, and while their three-point shooting isn't top tier, they've hit timely shots to keep opponents honest. Their home record of 6-4 underscores their ability to defend their turf, with stifling defense and smart, situational basketball. For the Clippers, the key will be containing Fox and slowing the Kings' inside game. Their elite interior defense is tailor-made to challenge Sacramento's mid-range heavy attack. However, the Kings' defense, particularly against perimeter shooters, remains a glaring weakness and could open opportunities for the Clippers to capitalize from deep. This game has all the makings of a nail-biter, but if you ask me, the Kings are in a much better spot to take this game, fully healthy and rolling with their top 5 intact. But instead of betting on the Kings outright, I'm locking in on James Harden to go over 22.5 points. Why? Without Norman Powell, the Clippers don't have a single guy who's consistently shown they can drop 25-plus points. Sure, Zubac might have to chip in offensively, but the weight of this game falls squarely on Harden's shoulders. He's going to have no choice but to take over, shoot, and deliver buckets. My pick here? James Harden to score over 22.5 points.